Shh.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 30 of the Talk is Cheap show. Glad that you're tuning in and supporting us as usual. Got a great show lined up for you today. But without any further ado, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce my big friend, homie, and partner. And he's in the house. Curtis Shaw, what are you saying, man? Big C.
Yeah, what's happening, bro? Everything good, man? The fight back is on, isn't it?
Yeah, more of that later, man. But yeah, man. So how you been?
Yeah, I've been all right, man. I've been all right. Just usual, innit, man? Keeping busy and exercising and just watching all this stuff that's going on, man.
Yeah, it's been crazy. But before we get into the craziness of the word, man, it's only right that I should big you up, man, because it's come to my attention that you've been nominated for some prestigious award. Football Contents Award, man. Man's been nominated for Best Content Creator or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah. Best new content creator. So obviously, I only started the channel at the start of the season, man. I was recording, holding the phone in my hand in the car. You know, it was proper rags. You know, so to get nominated for that, man, it's a blessing, and you know, hopefully the viewers.
Place.
So it's the award shows at Tottenham's ground. So you know, it'd be nice for Arsenal fan to leave White Hart Lane with a trophy, you know. So
yeah. Well, that's happened before, isn't it?
Yeah, many times. Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time. So hopefully the viewers can go and vote for me, man. Best new content creator.
Yeah, man. I'm sure they will, man. I mean, you've got some great content up there, man. It's been a pleasure working with you. And listen, man, I wish you all the best in that. I see AFTV's been nominated for a few awards that day as well. So.
Yeah. AFTV dominate that award show, man, you know.
Well, you know, hey, it is what it is, man. But yeah, man, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen, man, welcome along. It's great to have you back. We had a great show last week. Hopefully having a great show this week. But there's only one place to start, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a story that's been dominating news headlines all over the world, man. And although it's not an actual football story, it's been one of those stories that's it's captivated the whole world. And that's the George Floyd murder. I mean, there's no other way of putting it than that, man. I mean, all I want to say first is that anyone watching that, as I did, and I have to admit, I've seen a lot of bad videos, horror videos circulated on the net. And I've watched them, but I found this one particularly hard to watch, I must admit.
Yeah.
All the events unfolding, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, man. It was actually quite disturbing. And the actions of that police officer, I hesitate to call him a police officer, but the actions of that person there, that just defied belief. That was kind of sadistic, bro. To have a defenseless man lying spread eagle face first, his hands handcuffed behind his back. And then the officer proceeded to put his knee, hence his whole body weight, on the guy's neck for 9 minutes. And I'm hearing as well that 3 of those 9 minutes, the guy was unresponsive. So I can only look at that and determine that there was an element of premeditation about that, man. That's got to be, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, man, the video is so uncomfortable to watch. I only saw it once, actually, and it was really difficult to watch. But as you said, man, it seems premeditated. I mean, apparently I read that the police officer and George Floyd actually worked together at one stage. They were both security guards at a nightclub.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that they worked at the same venue, although they worked at different shifts. So it's not clear whether they did actually know each other. But it's hard to imagine that they wouldn't have seen each other, because the other thing is George Floyd, for those who don't know, he's quite a big guy, isn't he? I think he's about 6'6" in height.
Yeah.
So he stood out. He's the kind of guy that if you see him once, you're probably going to remember him, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know if there was something personal going on there as well, but all I know is that was a real horrific thing to watch, man. And it kind of shook me, man. I'm not going to lie. You know, and like I said, you don't have to be of any particular color. You, as a person of integrity, of compassion, you know what I mean, empathy, you look at that and you cannot fail to be moved by what you saw if you're a right thinking person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, the ensuing fallout, man, did not really surprise me. I knew that there was going to be civil disturbances following on from that.
Mm.
You know, it's been going on all over the world. I mean,
Yeah, man.
All over the world, right across America.
Mm.
You know what I mean? In Europe, in the UK, in Germany, Switzerland even, you know what I mean? Like everywhere, France, the Caribbean, Africa, all over the world, I've seen pictures and, you know, social media posts of people displaying their anger and their protests, you know what I mean? There's even a couple of demonstrations planned for this week. In fact, I might even attend the one on Sunday, man. I'm thinking,
yeah, same.
I mean, I feel very strongly about this kind of thing. And I mean, I don't want to get too political, although I wouldn't even say this is political. I mean, as I said before, if you're a right-minded human being, man, if you've got any element of compassion about you or decency, you cannot fail to have been moved by what you saw. You know what I mean? It's about time something was done. America's got some very real problems in that country with racism and police brutality. And I think now is the time, man. This could be a watershed moment. What do you think, Curtis?
I mean, it needs to be. As you said, I feel very strongly about it as well. I mean, having young kids, and you know, I don't want them to go through what we've had to go through. So at some point there has to be a change, and hopefully this is the moment, like you said, a watershed moment where the people fight back. I mean, even the fact that those you know, police officers have been charged, you know, that's an element of progress, because I don't believe they would have been charged if there wasn't so much pressure from the people. So something's happening,
right.
And you know, we've just got to keep doing it, although do it in the right way is what I would say.
Yeah, you make a very good point there, because the one thing I was disappointed to see, although I wasn't actually surprised, was the amount of looting that was going on, man. Which that always spoils it a little bit for me. When you see people doing that, you have to question what their motives are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the peaceful protests, I'm right beside people who want to do that. And indeed, I mean, we've seen it spread over into the sports world.
Yeah.
And the first high-profile sportsman, and you know what? I'm going to give football a bit of credit here, because footballers often get a bit of stick for various things that they do that are not quite right. But shout out to Jadon Sancho, man, a young man who took it upon himself to protest in that way after he'd scored those goals. And I was really quite taken by that, you know what I mean? Enough respect to him, man. What did you think about that? What do you think about his gesture?
I thought it was brilliant, because and even Marcus Thuram in the other game where, you know, he went down on one knee and you know, because I think too many footballers nowadays, you know, they don't use their platform in a positive way to help others. It's all about them and their ego and what they've got. And I think, you know, something like this, you need to stand up and be counted. A lot of people look up to these footballers. So if they're being shown that, look, this is wrong, and we're in support of the people fighting back, and it's a small thing that he did, but it had a very big influence. And you know, as you say, Jadon Sancho, I mean, I believe he's still a teenager. So for him to do that was very, very powerful. So nothing but respect for him and all the players that are doing it.
I mean, I know he got booked on the day. But, you know, I think me and you spoke, didn't we, after the game? We watched the game and we saw that, and we were speaking about him getting booked, which the referee was, to be fair to the ref, he was placed in a difficult position, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Because the rules are quite clear. If you remove your shirt like that, then you're going to get booked. What was interesting to see was that the German authorities very quickly came out and said they're not going to look at punishing him or anything like that. So that was And then that whole action was replicated right across the football spectrum, innit? I mean, we've seen in this country a lot of the teams taking knees and posting their support. Which is good. And then we had the Blackout Tuesday, which I'm proud to say AFTV participated in, and I know you did. You know what I mean? So all these things collectively, they will make a difference, you know what I mean? And I just hope that, like we said earlier, this will be a watershed movement, and you know, some positives can come out of this very tragic situation.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, football has definitely played its part, more so I might add than a lot of other sports.
Yeah.
Although it does seem that, you know, slowly but surely, a lot of the other sports are stepping up there. But football were one of the first, so I'm quite proud to have to report that on the channel today. So yeah, man. Yeah, man. Okay, so moving on then to football. And for those of people who watched the show recently, you will know that we're one of the regular segments on our show now has been the whole Project Restart. And it was a bit unfortunate, wasn't it? Because it was literally just as we came off air last week, man. Remember that?
Yeah.
Came that, you know what I mean, they're giving the dates for the season to restart improper. Something there being any, you know, bad second wave or anything like that, man. So, yeah, they actually gave a date, the 17th of June, which is nigh on approaching, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Man City. Which, hey, what's your thoughts on that, man? When you heard that, what was your thoughts? Just quickly, what was your thoughts on that?
You know, I was excited when they said the league was starting, and then I saw Man City away, and I thought, maybe null and void weren't so bad after all. But do you know the thing, though? I mean, under normal circumstances, I'd be very wary of that game, but you know, with no fans being there, no atmosphere, you know, the fact it's the first game back, you know, how sharp are all the players going to be? It might just be our best opportunity of catching Man City out. It'll still be a tough game, but, you know, it might give us a chance. So let's embrace it, man, and try and beat them. I hope we go there and attack them and have a go.
Yeah, you're right, you know, because I must admit, when the fixtures came out and I saw that, my initial thing was, wow, man, why did they have to do that to us? You know what I mean? Yeah. The first game back, we get City away. But then, of course, you think about it, although it's an away game, it's an away game with a difference. You know what I mean? So the circumstance, it kind of levels the playing field, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah. But the fact that there won't be any fans in the ground. Also, the fact that, let's face it, man, City don't have too much to play for, do they? We've actually got more to play for than them, really, because they're not going to win
in the Premier League, definitely.
And with Arsenal, we've got a lot to play for. I mean, it's a Champions League place still up for grabs. You can argue as to whether we got a realistic chance, but there's definitely a Europa League spot to play for. And yeah, I think if they approach it in the right way, I think it's a kind of winnable game for us. You know what I mean? The first game back. Arteta seems to have been very diligent during this period in the way he's prepared the players. I'm kind of getting the right vibes. You never know, man. I think this could be, put it this way, I would imagine it's going to be a more difficult game for City than the corresponding fixture at the Emirates earlier.
Well, that was like
described it as one of his easiest games. So
yeah, that was a training
that day.
Yeah, I think we watched that game actually, and that was a Kevin De Bruyne exhibition, wasn't it, that day?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think everyone's fit for Arsenal apart from Callum Chambers, who obviously long term. So we've got basically our entire squad. So I'm looking forward to watching it. I'll be honest. I just can't wait. I mean, we've been watching the Bundesliga. I think it's got progressively better as the games have gone on. But just to see English football and to see Arsenal, man, I really can't wait. You know, as long as they don't get battered in that game, you know. But yeah, I reckon we've got a chance. You never know.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think, you know, I mean, there's reasons for optimism there. You know what I mean? Like I said, when we first saw the fixture come out, you said, oh, man, could we got something a bit more winnable? But the more and more I thought about it, I thought, actually, coming back and playing City then might represent our best opportunity for a while in beating them, you know what I mean? I'm kind of optimistic. And I must admit as well, part of that optimism is just having football back, man. I mean, this has been like a long journey back, and I'm just so enthused to see something positive on the horizon, you know what I mean? Great, man, you know what I mean? The players are all back in training. I mean, even the like Troy Deeney and N'Golo Kante are back in training. Even my man, Danny Rose, Mr. Labrat. Mr. Labrat's back in training, and from what I could see on TV the other day, he seemed to enjoy being on the training pitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he be in these bio-specific atmospheres with disinfected pitches and balls and stuff like that? So,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's all looking good, man. And the general mood around football coming back seems to be overwhelmingly positive as well. Right?
Yeah, because I think as you say, man, football has a big impact in England, and I think it will uplift the people. You see how many games are going to be on each day. I think they're saying 4 or 5 games will be live on TV, so it's going to be, I can't wait, man. I'll be
Yeah,
watching games that I would have never imagined I would have watched before, like Burnley v Brighton or something like that.
yeah,
I'll be going all out. you
yeah.
know.
It's crazy, man. You always, whenever in life, whenever you got something and then it's
Mm.
taken away from you, you realize just how much you really loved it when it's taken away, and now it
Yeah,
gets back. It's a great feeling, man, and that's not just applicable to football. You know what I mean?
yeah,
All
yeah,
sport, you know what I mean? I'm just so glad to be seeing other sport back on TV as well. It's going to be great, man.
yeah.
But the one thing I would say is that I did notice that Arsenal are toying with the idea of using like virtual fans in the stadium. What did you think about that? Have you heard that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it might be an even better atmosphere than the real fans in the Emirates.
I knew you were going to come with that one.
I mean, oh dear. They just want to create a bit of an atmosphere, don't they? I mean, I see, was it in Denmark or something? They're putting pictures up of the fans' faces, and they're
Yeah,
doing all sorts of different things. And they're making, they're playing virtual noise when goals go in, and they're just doing something to make it a little bit more realistic, aren't they? So yeah, I'm all for that, man. Why not?
they may sound a bit silly to a lot of people, but I kind of admire the clubs when they're thinking creatively. They're trying to be
Yeah,
innovative and come up with ideas to make it a bit more watchable.
yeah,
Because there's going to be a few naysayers. Oh, it's not the same. There's no fans, no atmosphere. So
yeah,
credit due to the clubs. They are trying to come up with some solutions that might make it a more watchable experience. So credit to them for that.
yeah,
And
man.
the thing I did notice as well. I mean, so we've got the German league is back.
Mm.
The Spanish league is back next week. But I've seen there was a game in Portugal. And that one did worry me a little bit because I think it was a Porto game. They were playing somebody. And outside the stadium, there was like a mass congregation of fans. And they were like singing songs, banging drums and letting off flares and all sorts of stuff like that. I thought, rah, if that happens here, there could be a bit of a backlash against football.
Yeah,
And me and you spoke about this prior to the show. And you were saying, and I do agree with you, that you're convinced that if and when Liverpool win the title, let's face it, it's going to be when they win the title. You can imagine them kind of scenes at Liverpool matches.
I mean, it's going to be difficult for them. They've waited 30 years to win the title, and they've won it in such a great fashion as well. And then to not be able to celebrate, it's going to be very difficult. It wouldn't surprise you if some Liverpool fans were outside the stadium. But
outside the stadium, I would say the likelihood of them being out en masse outside the stadium.
yeah, possibly. It's hard for them, isn't it? They'll want to celebrate. They're a very passionate club, passionate fans. So to be asked to stay away is difficult. But what will be will be.
A lot of people congregating in all different places recently.
Mm.
So, for example, people have been congregating on beaches.
Yeah.
In parks. I mean, the government has said that people can go to parks and congregate. There's been masses of people. I mean, even the parks near to me, we've had some really good weather in North London recently, as I'm sure they have where you live. And the parks, man. In fact, you know what? I don't even go running in the park. It's just too many people. So
Yeah.
I'm on the road. So there's been, lots of people congregating in the park. And of course, we spoke earlier, didn't we, about protests.
Yeah.
There's been hundreds, thousands of people protesting on the streets. So I think it's fair to assume that when Liverpool win the title, man, there's going to be mass gatherings. I just hope it doesn't get too silly or too out of control. But hey,
Yeah.
the overwhelming feeling, man, is that everyone's positive that football's back.
Yeah, man. I can't wait for Premier League football.
And I wouldn't have thought I would have heard you say that 3 weeks ago. So that's a great thing to see.
Yeah. Progress.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. So moving on then. So another regular feature that we got on the show is what I call the Player Watch, which is a number of Arsenal players have been in the news recently. And what we're going to do in this segment of the show is that I will call out their name, give a little brief backstory, and then ask you to fill in the gaps, man. Give your opinion and see what you think.
Yeah.
So if we start, it's a kind of random list. I haven't really done it in any particular order. But here we go. So the first one it was David Luiz. Now, he's been in the news recently. We spoke about this briefly last week as well, that his contract is coming up. Well, I was going to say for renewal, but we don't know because there's a lot of talk that he might go. And it's been going back and forth for a week. First, we heard that he looked like he was definitely going to go. Indeed, we heard that he was even talking to Benfica about possible move back there. And we were lamenting that somewhat, saying that we think he should be given the opportunity to have another season at the club. Then it would appear that things have moved on. I think even Mikel Arteta appears to have got involved. He's come out and said that he wants him to stay. And there seems to be a bit of a shift now, that he might indeed stay for another season. So what's your thoughts on the David Luiz situation?
I mean, yeah, as we said last week, look, David Luiz is not the be-all and end-all. He's not the world-class player that we need, but you have to look at what we've got, and he is the best centre-back that we've got. And he's an experienced player. He's a leader. He's been very influential in the dressing room from what I've heard. And for me, I would be keeping him for one more year to help the likes of Saliba settle into the club. And I think, you know, move on your Socrates, your Mustafi, them guys first. Luiz, I would definitely keep for another year. And I think Arteta's going to keep him. So I'm happy to read that.
Yeah, I must admit, I was encouraged when I saw the reports that Arteta has pretty much come out and said that he wants him to stay. So, and it does seem to have been a bit of a shift towards him staying now, whereas last week it was looking like he was very much out the door. So, yeah, we welcome that one. Right, next up is a player that we seem to talk about every week as well. Every week, these different stories, the narrative shifts and changes. Again, this is another one where it appears that Mikel Arteta is getting personally involved and wants the player to stay, and that is our striker, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. What's your thoughts on that one, Mara?
I mean, as I've said before, man, we need to keep him at all costs. And it seems to be falling into our hands a little bit because all the teams that were kind of linked with him, it seems like they can't quite afford him or the deal doesn't really make sense. They're saying Arteta's going to get involved personally now and negotiate the deal with Aubameyang. So hopefully he'll stay for another year. I think he will be at Arsenal next season. Whether he signs a new contract or not is a different story, but I think he will be at the club next season. So great news if he stays.
Yeah, I see today where the Chelsea rumours have resurfaced. And that, I must admit, right from the outset, they were the one club that I was kind of worried about. I was more worried about Chelsea than I am about Real Madrid and Barcelona, for the simple fact that with the two Spanish clubs, we're constantly hearing, especially in this current climate, their financial situations are not what they were. And it might not represent good value for money for them to pay all that money to take Aubameyang to the club, given his age and all sorts of stuff. So I was less worried about them. But once Chelsea started sniffing around, man, I became a bit more worried about that. And indeed, looking at social media this morning, and there's more stories about Chelsea circulating, sniffing around, man. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, for me, I'm a little different. I don't really see that deal happening. Number one, I think the board know the backlash would be too heavy. You wouldn't get a good price for him anyway. So if you're going to get 20, 30 million for Aubameyang, what's the point in selling him? And I don't think he would be desperate to go to Chelsea. I think, you know, maybe he'll get a little bit more money and they are ahead of us. But I think for him to leave, he wants that Barcelona, Real Madrid kind of move. So, yeah, I'm not even sure Chelsea would really be desperate to get Aubameyang. I think they're looking for maybe a slightly younger striker who they can have for the future as well.
You say Giroud off us?
Well, yeah, they must have been desperate at the time then if they took him, you know.
Well, you say that, but that Giroud kind of came back to bite us in the Europa League final, didn't it?
Europa League, yeah.
But you know what? With the Aubameyang situation, I could see why that might interest Chelsea. You know what I mean? Because they've got a couple of strikers there, but they're not okay. What's the guy's name?
Say what you really think about Tammy Abraham.
No, listen, enough respect to Tammy Abraham for what he's done so far in the season, but I must admit, I never really rated him that highly before.
No, I didn't.
Still, let's be honest, man. He's had a good season, so props to him for that. Can't take that away from him. But let's also keep it 100, man. He's not the finished article.
No.
If you get someone like Aubameyang alongside him, it doesn't look like Michibai is going to make it at Chelsea. So and Giroud is, it's off and on, isn't it? It's not legit 20, 30 goal a season strike.
No.
You can see why they would be interested in Aubameyang. And if put yourself in Aubameyang's shoes, if you can't get the kind of deal you want at Arsenal, Chelsea becomes a legitimate proposition, doesn't it? Because A, they will pay the money. B, he's staying in London, which Aubameyang's on the record as saying he loves living in London. Mm-hmm. And, you know what I mean? They're going to have money to buy players. It could be argued that possibly in a stronger position than us playing-wise right now. So you can see why he might be tempted to go to Chelsea. You know what I mean? And if you go to Chelsea, there's far more disruption in his life than it would be if he had to the upheaval of going to Spain, him and his family. So I was always a bit more worried about that one, to be honest, than I was about the Spanish clubs.
I think he'll be here next year. I just think maybe this whole situation has helped it. I think if other clubs were a bit more financially well off, they would buy him. But I think we'll just about hang on to him. But I'd like to see him sign that new contract. I don't just want him to stay and run down his deal. I want him to commit his future. So hopefully the club will offer him the money, man. Show him the money.
Show him the money, indeed. I'm also a bit more encouraged by the fact that Arteta, it's been said, I mean, I haven't seen an actual quote from him, but it's been reported that he's getting involved personally and going to talk to Aubameyang about staying. So hopefully that might help, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it kind of goes back to what we were saying before and in previous shows about, the club needing to back the manager, man. You know what I mean?
They have to.
David Luiz, now Aubameyang. Arteta's having to come out and take these guys to one side personally and say, look, I want you to stay, man. Please, can you sign? He shouldn't have to do that. He should go. He's gone to the board and said, look, I want to keep these two guys. Then it's up to the board to make the guys the right offer and convince them to stay. You know what I mean? You have to be doing all this brokering in the background. You know what I mean?
No.
But anyway, if it achieves the ultimate aim, which is getting to stay, then I'm all for it. Okay, moving on then. George Smith. A lot of people.
Here's that marquee signing we were looking for, man.
No disrespect. A rush of excitement that the fans felt when they heard about this. Some of them probably didn't even hear about it, to be honest. But yeah, George Smith's a 19-year-old winger who was previously operating in the lower leagues in Norwegian football. Now, I don't know if he was spotted, but he was spotted. He had a trial in March.
Yeah.
Apparently, he impressed so much that the club have decided to sign him. So technically, he's our first signing now of this period, anyway, as we approach the transfer, this summer. He's technically the first signing. So, your thoughts on that?
Do you know what?
You've ever seen him play?
No, I've seen a few YouTube clips, as you do. Do you know, I don't want to be disrespectful to the man because where you start is irrelevant. I mean, Jamie Vardy came out of non-league and, he ended up becoming top goal scorer in the Premier League. So we shouldn't always make a judgment of where a player comes from. And he's a young player. And from the reports I've heard, he was ripping man up in training. So, it sounds like he impressed people in a big way. So, it's not one of our main signings. It's a young player who they will give time to develop. So let's wait and see what happens. I'm not gonna criticize the guy because he came from Norway. He obviously showed them enough to sign. So let's hope we've unearthed a gem.
Yeah, man, you're right. I mean, listen, I was watching Robbie and Claude the other day. Shout out to both of them. But I heard Claude dissing the guy and saying how he's come from the lower leagues of Norwegian football and rare. That might be true, but then you also got to factor into that a certain Gabriel Martinelli, he came from the lower leagues of Brazilian football.
Yeah, fourth division or something.
Yeah, exactly. Clubs I've never heard of. And most people watching this show probably wouldn't have heard of it. I can't even pronounce the name. And now that same guy is being touted as the next big thing for Arsenal. So you've got to start from somewhere, I say. And if he's done well in training, so he's been given a random trial and he's come over here and he blew up the trial and got signed. So that tells me a lot about the guy, man.
Yeah, man, give him a chance.
Arteta and Mertesacker, the likes, are going to be impressed just like that. They've seen a lot, haven't they?
Yeah, of course, man.
They're not just going to be impressed just like that. So
no,
taking a step to sign it, they must have seen something. So I'm confident that it's probably going to be a good signing for us. Okay, moving on then to a guy we've discussed before, but again, his name never seems to stop appearing in these stories. Lucas Torreira. Another week and another story attached to his name about him wanting to fulfill lifelong dreams abroad, and it's always been his dream to play for, was it Boca Juniors this time? He always been linked with everything but to do with Arsenal. What's your thoughts, bro? I mean, personally, I just kind of get fed up with this, man. I mean, is he committed to Arsenal or not? Every time he gives an interview, he seems to be telling everybody about his love for other teams. We want you to focus on what's going on in London. What do you think?
I mean, I'm quite harsh when it comes to these players, because to me, most of them are not up to the standard that I want to see at Arsenal. I think Torreira is a decent player, but he can be replaced. You know, if you're talking Thomas Partey or someone like that, that's a big upgrade. If this guy's dream is to play in Italy or Argentina or wherever he wants it, then get rid of him. Because to me, the way I see Arsenal, if you play for Arsenal, bro, you should be, you're in a privileged situation. You're playing for one of the best teams in English football, although we haven't always showed it, but we're a massive club. You're talking about AC Milan. I want to play for my old manager. I grew up dreaming of Boca Juniors. Focus on what's in front of you. Do the business for us. If his mind is that elsewhere, then get rid of him, because I'm sure we could get decent money for him. You know, people were comparing him to Kante when we first signed him. The only thing that's similar to Kante is his height, mate. That's it, because he's not a patch on N'Golo Kante. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear no Kante comparisons.
No, that, man. I mean, like, every time this guy is quoted in the press, all I hear him talking about is, I may want to go back to Italy at some stage, and it's always been my dream to do this. And it never involves Arsenal Football Club. I'm like, blah. And the thing is, right, what compounds it for me is that his performances on the pitch have not been stellar. You know what I mean? I'm just going to keep it real. Yes, we know he's a good player. We've seen that when he's played for Uruguay. And at times, for Arsenal, he's also looked a very good player. But you need to be putting in performances, bro. Yeah, I don't want to be hearing you talking about other clubs. You know what I mean? It's a bit like you having a girlfriend, right? And every time you're out with that girlfriend, she's talking about her exes or and saying, oh, yeah, he looks nice. You'd be thinking, bro, come on, you know, what are you saying? What are you trying to tell me?
Innit? Go back with him.
Relationship or not?
Yeah,
you know, that's how I feel about Torreira. You know what I mean? Like, you're gazing at next club. You've got your own issues to resolve here, man. You know what I mean? You have not solidified your place in the team. You have not been outstanding. You know what I mean? You don't, like, when you're talking about the better Arsenal players, your name doesn't automatically spring to mind. So why are you talking about other clubs for? Unless you really do want to leave. Yeah. So, and then you made a good point earlier, you know what I mean, when you're saying about, you know, it's important that you know, get behind the club and stuff. I mean, Arteta spoke about that, didn't he?
Yeah.
That these guys should realise what big club they're playing for and be giving it all. You know what I mean? Instead of that, this man's chatting about next month.
You know what I mean?
Concentrate on what's in front of you, bro. You know what I mean? So I'm with you, man. I think Arteta needs to take him to one side and say, look, what is the deal here? You know what I mean? Because every time I see your name in the press, it's you being linked to other clubs or you talking about your avowed love for Boca Juniors. What's the deal, man? Do you want to stay or not?
Yeah.
What is your commitment level? You know what I mean? That needs to be established.
100%.
Stop chatting greasy to all these publications. Anyway, enough of that. Right, so we're approaching 35 minutes, man, and we haven't mentioned the O word, but
oh dear, oh no. Here we go.
Whatever you want to say about this guy, man, you just can't keep him out the news, man.
No, you can't.
You can't. And this week, lo and behold, there was another story going around about our friend Mesut Ozil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this one, it appears that he's fallen foul of the sponsors, Adidas and Mercedes, who are two massive sponsors, by the way. And it would appear, anyway, there's a story in Germany saying that they're going to terminate his sponsorship deal to the tune of millions. You know what I mean? So, what's your thoughts on that one, bro? I mean,
I'm going to tread carefully here, by the way. Do you know what? I tend to look at this as, I think the brands, because they're talking about his relationship with the president of Turkey as being one of the reasons, but I tend to look at this as, are they looking at Mesut Ozil now and thinking, you know what, as a player, you're kind of fading. He doesn't play for Germany anymore. Arsenal aren't in the Champions League. Ozil isn't exactly pulling up trees on the pitch, is he? Let's be honest. And they're probably thinking,
one goal. I mean,
one assist and one goal. Oh, but what an assist, by the way. Go on, say it.
I'm not going to say it's been said enough times by Claude.
You don't know what Mesut Ozil does on the pitch. You don't understand football.
Clearly, that message hasn't got through to Mercedes or Adidas.
They ain't got a clue.
But yeah, go on, bro.
Yeah, so I think they're looking at Ozil and thinking, you know what? They're probably paying him big money. They're looking at it now going, as a brand, this guy is failing now. He's not a top player anymore. You know, Adidas, I believe their two biggest are Pogba and Messi. I mean, you can't compare Ozil to them two.
No.
So I think they're looking for an escape clause, really, you know, use a different reason, you know, because he's been in contact with this Turkish president for years, and I've never heard Adidas or Mercedes complain about it. But when the guy's got
his wedding.
Exactly, you know what I mean? But when he's got one assist and one goal, when it's one assist and one goal, they're thinking, you know what, we need to get out of here, man. This ain't working.
No, but you know what? I'm inclined to agree with you on that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's not even anything that Ozil's done particularly wrong. I think, listen, when you're a top player, high-profile player like he is, you have a certain shelf life, don't you?
Yeah.
For some players, it's going to be shorter or longer, depending on how well you're doing on the pitch. And I think it's just the reality of the situation is that he's coming to the end of his shelf life with these sponsors. You know what I mean? So they'll be looking at the next big thing. And it happens to everybody, not just Ozil. So, so that, you're right. That the excuse that's been put forward or proffered by some that, you know, it's these links to the Turkish president. I'm not so sure how much we can really read into that.
No.
I think that could be just a place, the press, sorry, speculating. But hey, man, you can't keep Ozil out of the chat, man. You know what I mean? He's just got that gift that keeps giving. But anyway, moving on to another one of our favourite footballers, Hector Bellerin. Some pretty, I don't know if we use the word strong, but I've seen a lot of reports that he's been linked with PSG. And he's been linked with Inter Milan previously, and then that kind of died away. But this one is resurfaced now with him being linked with PSG. And that's been a story now for 2 or 3 days. And that's not going away. I mean, listen, now I'm going to put my cards on the table. I would take the money, bro, because I just think that he's washed. That's what I think. But you are a resident expert, man. So you tell us what you think. Is that a viable option? Bellerin to PSG? Do you think he'll go? Does he want to go?
No, I don't think Hector wants to leave, man. I think he's very comfortable at Arsenal. Similarly to you, I don't think Bellerin's the best. I really don't think. You know, since the injury as well, that it's a tough injury. It takes a long time to recover from. But even before that, we were seeing signs that, you know, defensively he's not great. His crossing is really not good enough, man. I mean, the amount of times he gets to a byline and the cross ain't good enough, and you're like, if they offered a decent amount of money, I would take it. I've said before, I would take Max Aarons from Norwich. I would take Semedo from Barcelona. You know, there are options out there. But I don't see Arteta letting him go, man. I think he likes him. I think the club will give him another year.
Yeah, I think you could be right in that as well. I think he'll get another year. Like I said, I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles would more than fill that position. So if they did decide to move for one of the players you mentioned previously, I'll take that. But personally, well,
I take it you're not a big fan of Bellerin then. No?
you can take that as read, bro. 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, but anyway, moving on. I just wanted to finish the player watch section. Slightly sad note, but this week was the anniversary of Jose Antonio Reyes' tragic passing in a car crash on the 1st of June. So I just wondered if you had anything to say about Jose Antonio Reyes. What was your favourite memory of him, man? I know I've got one. What was yours?
It was the long range goal. Was it his first goal? It was against Chelsea, like at Highbury, top corner. And I remember thinking, what a player this guy's going to be. And you know, when you look back at some of his clips, he scored some really good goals for us, man. I mean, I always remember that game at Old Trafford where Gary Neville was just fouling him the whole game. And I was thinking, how is this guy not getting sent off? But Reyes was a really talented player. Seemed like a good guy. All the players were complimentary of him. And just a terrible situation to occur, man. I mean, there's not a lot I can say. It was terrible. It was shocking news.
Yeah. That was really sad. And it wasn't just him that passed in the car crash. I thought it was a few of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, my favourite memory is that FA Cup game. And I remember that game well because I've got a few mates of mine who were Chelsea fans. And I remember going into that game, we hadn't been doing the best. And they were ripping me and saying, yeah, this guy Reyes, man. Yeah, I mean, he's a waste of money, blah, blah, blah. And then he scored them goals, man. We won the game, and it was a great day.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's very sad what happened, and anniversary his death, and rest in peace, Jose Antonio Reyes. Yeah. Okay then, bro. So moving on to another regular segment of our show, our footballers behaving badly. That we haven't got too many footballers behaving badly this week. I guess the person that's behaved most badly this week is probably not a footballer. It's probably Donald Trump. But I don't want to get too political, man. I don't want to get too political. But yeah, footballers behaving badly. I'm pleased to report that there hasn't been too much on that front this week, actually. Although Phil Foden managed to get himself embroiled in some controversy that he probably didn't want to do. He got caught playing football on a beach with some random guys, which probably wasn't the cleverest thing to do.
No.
I don't think he got disciplined by the club.
No.
One of them where the club reminded him of his responsibility. But yeah, I mean, again, he stood there, took pictures with this guy, and then lo and behold, they went up on social media, and that's how everyone found out about it. And the thing that we've been running this segment of the show now for about 4 or 5 weeks. And the one thing that's been thoroughly consistent throughout all of these is that all of these guys are getting caught through their use of social media.
Yeah.
Either them posting the pictures or, you know, they've allowed themselves to be taken pictures of and then they've appeared on social media. You just think to yourself, come on, man. You know what I mean? One thing you're breaking the rules, but then you've committed the extra offence by having it promoted on social media.
Yeah.
Just caught you banged to rights. There's Phil Foden out there taking pictures with man, you know what I mean? So yeah, look at me breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Thing to do, man. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on that, bro?
Do you know what? I thought this section of the show was coming to an end. I thought, you know, they'd all started behaving and then headline news, someone comes out. I mean, 4 or 5 weeks ago, even though it was wrong, but I tended to have a little bit more sympathy for them. Like, you know, you're in lockdown, it's difficult, you've made slight mistake. But now I'm looking at it like, Phil Foden, mate, you're back in training. You're training every day. It's full contact training. And you feel the need to go on the beach and play football with strangers. I mean, come on, man, use your head. Sometimes, you know, I like to defend footballers, but, you know, at times you think you've got to be smarter than that, surely, man. And like we were saying off here, like the Premier League's back in 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks. And it only takes one player to get infected, go and spread that to half the Man City team, and then they give it to other teams. And all of a sudden, the league's finished because of one person acting stupidly. So I've got no sympathy for Phil Foden in that sense, man. He's got to be smarter than that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a young lad.
Yeah.
And he got caught up in the moment. But, you know, it's very silly. And he should know better, really. You know, but
Yeah.
hopefully we won't see no more. We say that every week. He's like,
Yeah.
But then it's a gift that keeps giving. Somebody will be back next week doing something else equally as silly or worse. So, but hey, man. And I should also mention that there was don't know if you heard about that story in Sevilla. Sevilla players.
You mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah, 4 of them. When the story was first reported, it was a bit more titillating, wasn't it? They were saying that 4 players who got caught, and there's a party and girls and late night and blah blah blah. It later transpired that in fact it was a lot less egregious than that. It was, 4 players and their wives or girlfriends in amongst a bigger group. So what they'd done, they'd assembled somewhere. And I think in Spain you're allowed to assemble in groups of up to 6. And this one was a little bit bigger, 10 or 12 or whatever. But it wasn't the sort of raucous party night that we've been led to believe. And indeed, the players weren't punished by the club. So
okay, so not too bad.
It wasn't as bad as what we was first led to believe.
Yeah.
Everyone just needs to, but like you said, they'll soon be back now, man. So that restlessness should be out of this system now.
Yeah, man.
So we'll see what happens next week if we've got anything to report on that. Right, okay then. So that's pretty much the end of the show for this week, bro.
Yeah.
So tell the people where they can find you. I mean, I think, like me, you've got plans for the weekend in terms of the Black Lives Matter protest. I think you said you were going to be attending, my man, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna attend, all being well, the one on Sunday in London. I believe it starts at Trafalgar Square, so I've got to do my bit, man. I feel strongly about it, and sometimes talking isn't enough. You need to, put it into action. So I'll be down there. I believe you're going as well. So hopefully people.
Yeah, I'm going to try and observe the lockdown rules in terms of keeping my distance from people. I'll be turning up with my gloves, my mask, hand gel, and I'll try and observe the rules as much as I possibly can. But I think it's important to try and make my own statement, if you like. You know what I mean? I feel strongly about this stuff. And I don't just attribute this to a race thing. You know what I mean?
No.
It's a human rights thing, you know what I mean? So, and like I said earlier, I'm glad that football is showing itself to be on board with what's going on. So
of course, yeah.
Proud of the way football's handling it so far. Obviously, you know what I mean, more needs to be done. But the little thing that we can do as people, I think it's important that we do it. So yeah, man, listen, thanks very much. And, it's been a great show. Thanks very much to all the people out there watching. Keep messaging us. We like the show to be interactive. Let us know what you think about what we were discussing today, the whole Black Lives Matter movement. Are you with it? Are you not? Do you think that this has absolutely nothing to do with sport? I personally think it does, so does Curtis. But you may have another view. I'm interested in what you have to say. So message us, let us know, keep watching, keep supporting, and see you guys next week. I'm out.
If you entered the Blood Brothers online gaming tournament yet, chance to win £500, PS4 or Xbox, and you'll be taking on people one-on-one, and chance to represent our team. Doesn't get bigger than that.